Hey everyone, my name is Sarah, and this is my new YouTube channel, Little Dynamite Knits. The name Little Dynamite is just taken from my Instagram account, which is little_dynamite. It is a reference to a Bruce Springsteen song. The song Rosalita come out tonight, one of my very, very favorite Bruce Springsteen songs. I've had that username for a very long time. And that's about as creative as I was feeling as I decided to launch this YouTube channel. So, welcome. This is episode 1 of what I'm hoping will be something that I stick with and become a new knitting podcast. Why do I want to do this? Did I already tell you my name? I'm Sarah. Okay, first of all, let's talk about how this is going to go. There's going to be very minimal editing on this podcast, if any at all. Some of my absolute favorite knitting podcasts are just people talking and super low key, low production efforts, because that's what I'm there for. I want to see what they're working on and hear what they're up to, and that's what I enjoy. So that's the approach I'm taking here. It's also, partial laziness, partial just not knowing what the heck I'm doing when it comes to video editing. So I'm recording this first episode on an iMac computer. I'm having a really hard time with the mirroring. When I'm on my computer, usually in a Zoom meeting, I make sure that it's mirrored so that I know what side I'm moving on. Can't figure that out in a QuickTime player, which is what I'm using to record this. I told you, super high tech over here. But anyway, my name is Sarah, and I am a 42-year-old school communications professional. That sounds so much more important than it is. Living in Chester County, Pennsylvania, which is outside of Philadelphia. I grew up in South Jersey. I went to college in Philly, and then I have since settled in Pennsylvania. In my former life, the first 18 years of my adult working life, I was a music teacher, specifically an orchestra director, and I taught AP music theory and guitar and general music and all sorts of stuff. But I left teaching and now work as a director of communications for another school. So I do still work in education, but I'm no longer in the classroom. I live with my husband, Brent, and our 3 cats, Gustav, Gracie, and Gertie. They do have their own Instagram account. I will put it in the description box below. I don't update it nearly enough, but maybe I will start doing it if more people follow. So, welcome to this new thing I'm trying. Why am I doing this? I have really, really just fallen down the rabbit hole of knitting podcasts in the last 4 to 5 months. And I have my favorites, and I have the ones that I, subscribe to and watch regularly. But the thing that I love most about them is just the community aspect of it, the connection part of it, hearing what people are working on and seeing it. And I just find it comforting and enjoyable. And I do have friends that knit, and I, hang out with them and go to some events with them, but they're not all friends necessarily with each other. Not that they don't like each other, but we're not like a group that always hangs out together. One lives up in Ithaca, New York, so that would make that challenging. But I really love the idea of having a community. And as I go to more knitting events and yarn festivals, the idea of like seeing people there and getting to connect with them there and recognizing people and meeting new people, I just really love the fiber community as a whole, and I want to be a more of a part of it. So that's why I'm doing this. This first episode, so moving forward, I will be doing a lot of the typical knitting podcast sections where I share finished objects and talk about works in progress and my yarn stash, and all sorts of knitting related stuff. But for this first episode, I actually wanted to jump into an event that took place in March here in the Philadelphia area, the first ever Greater Philly Yarn Crawl. And you may notice I keep looking over this way, and that's because I have my iPad here with notes. Yes, I actually, if you can believe it, do have some notes that were an attempt to keep this on track. How am I doing? So that's what I'm going to talk about mostly this episode. Next episode, I am going to kind of go back to my beginnings as a knitter and how that journey has been for me. I started knitting when I was 20, so I'm now 42. So I have been knitting for over 20 years, but I really don't think I became like a true knitter and a part of the community, greater community of knitters and fiber folks until a few years ago. So I'll talk more about that next episode. And also in the next episode, I'm going to share all my finished objects so far from 2024. Don't worry, it's not that many. Talk about what I'm working on right now and plans for the rest of the year. Some other ideas I have for other episodes other than just the regular catching up. If you're interested in what's to come. We just recently did a big construction project here in the first floor of our house, and I now have an office / knitting room / music nook where all the instruments are. And so I'm going to do an episode about that process, about, building this yarn storage solution of my dreams, the yarn winding station that I set up for myself, which is where I have the computer right now recording this. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how I became a sock knitter as someone who never ever wanted to knit socks, and now I think I have 5 sock whips on my needles right now, or 4 because I just finished one. I want to talk about stash building. 3 years ago I didn't have a yarn stash. I only bought yarn when I was making projects, and now, as you can see, this is not all of it. It's grown quite a bit. So, but I want to talk about stash building, but also like mystery yarn clubs and how I kind of went a little intense with them. And now I've pulled back and I'm doing much more intentional purchasing. I think a lot of people can relate to that. How my preferences overall have just changed and evolved as a knitter. Like just recently I was on Ravelry looking through my favorites and my bundles, and so many things that I favorited like when I first joined Ravelry and was a very beginner knitter, I'm just like not feeling anymore. So I thought that was interesting. I'm going to learn how to crochet this year, but for real this time. So we'll talk about that. And the thing I think I'm most excited to talk about, which will be something I think that will continue throughout the year and through many episodes, is so in all my 20 plus years of knitting, I have never knit a garment. Ever. Hats, scarves, shawls, socks, fingerless mitts, headbands. I even knit a bowling set for my friend's kid once. I knit a bag once, but I've never knit a garment. Not for myself or for anyone else. And the 2 main reasons for that are, 1, I don't think I was ever confident enough in my skills as a knitter to even attempt it or think it was something I could do, which is no longer the case. And 2, for most of my life, I have existed in a very large body, particularly with a very large bust measurement. So there's a lot to unpack here. because there's the commitment and the investment side of things. Oh, my computer just dimmed. Sorry. So there's the investment and you know, the financial investment of buying enough yarn to make a garment large enough for my body. There's the time commitment of knitting something that big. Although now that I've knit blankets, you know, can't make that argument anymore or that excuse anymore. But I also think that there's just been a part of me that almost felt that my body wasn't worth the effort, that a knit garment just wouldn't look good on my body. So what was the point? So yeah, a lot to unpack there. I think I have some stuff to say about this. As a large-bodied knitter, I wanna share this journey of mine as I attempt to become a garment knitter and knit myself the sweater that I deserve, damn it. So I'm gonna start with a cardigan, so I don't have to worry about it like completely closing over the chest area. So I'm gonna knit myself a cardigan first, and I'm also gonna knit one for my husband. And the pattern he picked is in pieces and is going to require seaming. So we're going big. We're jumping like fully in. But that's another episode. We'll get there. All right, back to the Greater Philly Yarn Crawl. So a little over a month ago, March 14th to the 17th, we had our first ever Greater Philly Yarn Crawl. If I can figure out how, nope, that's the wrong side. I'll put some photos of like stores and things here. I'm not promising that. It's probably not going to happen, but we'll see. Who knows? So it was a 4-day event. There were 16 yarn stores participating. I made it to 11 of them. 16, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 16 stores. I made it to 11 of them. I did not go to any stores on the first day on March 14th because I had to work and I just didn't make it. But on the 15th, which was the Friday, I went to Pearls of Wisdom after work, which is what I consider my local yarn store, and picked up my passport. Oh, good. It's facing the right way. Okay. I will figure this out. And picked up my tote for the yarn crawl. Isn't that beautiful? How cool is that? Oh, maybe this can be the thumbnail for my video. Okay. So I went to Pearls of Wisdom on Friday night and picked up my things, and then what caught my eye first there, and I say first because I went back to Pearls of Wisdom later on Sunday, but I'll get there. Oh, P.S. Everything I bought during the yarn crawl does fit in these 2 bags. So, not too bad, right? Okay. My goal in visiting each store was I wanted to buy something at each store. I didn't just want to walk in and get my passport stamped and leave. I wanted to actually support all of the stores in some way, and not necessarily with you know, huge purchases or even yarn purchases, but something. So at Pearls, okay, I got a couple notions. This one's not here because I'm using it, but I got the knit and increase and decrease stitch markers from Twice Sheared Sheep, and there we go. And I also got the right side and the wrong side. Ooh, that's a glare. We're gonna have to figure this out. Okay, so I got those, and I got some yarn because each store had a pattern a special pattern for the yarn crawl that you got for free. And the pattern for pearls was, it's an eyelet top or a wrap. And I really liked the top and want to give it a try. So the kits they already had kits put together of 2 skeins of Life in the Long Grass. It is their non-superwash heavy lace weight. There are 657 yards in one of these skeins. It's gorgeous. It's 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. And this colorway is Angel Pewter. So I got 2 of these in the kit. And then the kits came with 2 cones of Edo Kinu. Edo yarn, and the base is called Kinu, Kinu. This is 100% silk. These are 50-gram cones, and they have 464 yards each. They're very, very thin. The kits came with 2 cones, but to make a size that will fit me, I did have to add a 3rd cone. So this colorway is Snow Gray, and so I'll hold them up together. So these are gonna be knit together in a eyelet top that I can wear over like a tank. So I'm really excited. I think it's good. Super drapey, super cozy. So this will be another feature garment. So very excited for that. And then because I spent over a certain amount, I got one of the Pearls of Wisdom's little notion kits they were giving out. It's actually really cool. It opens up this way and then also that way. And there's lots of compartments for stitch markers. And then they also included a tapestry needle and a little pair of scissors. So that's very cool. So that was day 1 at Pearls of Wisdom. All right. Saturday. I told my husband that I wanted to visit a lot of yarn stores. And he took it upon himself to plan out a route with all the shops I wanted to go to and drive me to all of them. And for the stores in Philly, that was huge because he would drop me off and then just, sit in the car or drive around the block and come back for me. So thanks to my husband, who is incredible for so many reasons, not just this, so many reasons. I'm a lucky girl. My husband drove me to 9 yarn stores in one day. 9. So let's get into it. We started in South Philly. So first stop was South Philly Yarn and Craft. Pearls of Wisdom, by the way, is in Phoenixville, which is also in Chester County. South Philly Yarn and Craft is in South Philadelphia. It's at 1625 South 11th Street. So while I was there, another thing I decided to do during the yarn crawl was not just purchase something from each store, but expand my fiber horizons and pick up some things that would help me learn some new skills. So at South Philly Yarn and Craft, I got this super cute glass with a glass straw, and inside there is yarn. There's a crochet hook attached. There's some stitch markers and a nice darning needle or tapestry needle, and a pattern to knit a koozie for this glass, a crochet in these 2 colors. So I thought that would be super fun. So I'm really excited to give that a try. After we left South Philly Yarn and Craft, We went to Weaver House, which is also in South Philly. It's at 1901 South. Whoops. 1901 South 9th Street. And Weaver House, is there's a lot of weaving stuff going on there. I'm not a weaver, but they had these super cute little like mini looms kits to do a mini weaving. So I have this goal for this wall, which this chair is normally tucked more in the corner next to my big shelf here. And right now this wall is just completely blank, and I want it to be like 3D things. Like, so I'm thinking hang up this little weaving. I have a felting landscape kit from, is it Painted Sky? Felted Sky? That I'll hang up there. I have some ideas for things that are going to go up there. So I thought this would be a great addition for that. So this was from Weaver House, also in South Philly. From there, we headed into Center City and stopped first at Yarnforia. Yarnforia is on, I want to say Locust Street. Where is it? Nope, Pine Street. I was close. 1020 Pine Street in Philadelphia. And at Yarning Town, I didn't buy much, but I did get this, which is for a cake of yarn that you put on your wrist and carry it around so you can knit. Now, I will say I didn't think of this until, just I got home. You do have to commit, because once you put the cake in here, it goes, and then the yarn goes through this grommet. It's in there. Like, the only way you're getting it out is finish your project or cut your yarn. But first of all, it was super cheap. It's super lightweight, and I know there are many versions of this like that you can get, but I just loved how lightweight this one was. This will add almost no weight to the cake of yarn itself. And then it's big enough that you could just put your sock project in there when you're not working on it. So, it's like a project bag too. So got that from Yarnforia. I also there was a little pop-up shop. A woman was there with a table. And the business is called Cork and Charm. And I got some really cute pins from her. The first one says cat feet. So everything was like a lot of cat stuff, a lot of animal stuff, which is that's my jam. So this one says cat fee, and it's a cat in a coffee mug. And this one says purring is very lovely, meowsic, and it's got like music notes and a black cat. So I couldn't resist those. She's called Cork and Charm. She's on Etsy. Cork and Charm. I'm sorry that is not super in focus. I am going to figure out this filming situation. But for now, we're on the computer. So Cork and Charm. All of these that I mentioned, I will put in the description box below. Ooh, that sounds so official. It sounds like this is a real podcast. Okay. From Yarnforia, we headed to Loop. Loop is on South Street, but up at like 1914 South Street. So at Loop, I got a tape measure, because you can never have enough. And that's a good snappy one. And I also got some yarn. Okay. So at Loop, I was really drawn to this yarn that it's hand dyed. The company is called Company Business Farm, Feederbrook Farm. And this is their Entropy DK base. This is 100% blue-faced Leicester wool. The colorway is Potential Energy. And I got 2 skeins of this to use in a pressed flowers cow. So hand dyed, so pretty. Can't wait to use that. So that'll be for a pressed flowers cow. All right, so after Loop, we left Center City and then we headed to Modest Transitions, which is like Fishtown area. It's at 312 East Girard Avenue. I had never been there. Actually, let me back up. Before this yarn crawl, out of the 16 stores, I had only ever been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. I think 6 of them, which is kind of crazy because they're not that far. But so Modest Transitions was another new one for me. And what did I buy there? Oh, I know what I got. They had the Katrinkles, the counter stitch markers, and they're the rainbow acrylic. I can't get this one to behave. Hold on. It is caught. Okay, well, pretend that blue one is where it's supposed to be. So they have numbers etched on them. So 25, 50, 75, and then a few have 100 on them. So you can place these in your work to help you keep count of your stitches. And I have been wanting these for a while, so it was great to find them. So that was from Modest Transitions. From there, we headed to Wild Hand, which is at 606 Carpenter Lane, so outside of the city, but still a Philadelphia mailing address. I think it's Mount Airy or Germantown area. But I also got some yarn from there because they are a spin cycle stockist and they had the new Plumpy base and they had it in Ghost Ranch. You guys, look at that. So I got 2 skeins of Plumpy in Ghost Ranch. Sorry, I have a fuzz in my eye. Oh my goodness, hold on. Okay, nope. Okay. I got 2 skeins of this for a Plump It Up shawl by Maxim Cyr of Les Garçons. So that pattern calls for Fluff, which is their lace weight sport base, and then Plumpy. So Les Garçons is going to be at Flock in August. So I'm going to patiently wait until then to get myself fluff yarn to go with these 2 skeins for a Plump It Up shawl. Okay, I'm starting to run out of places to put all this stuff. Okay, we'll just put it down there. All right, after Wild Hand, we went to Kelbourne Woolens. I love Kelbourne Woolens yarn. I love how they're priced. I love how they feel. I love the colors. But I'd never been to the shop, to their actual brick and mortar, you know, which is located, where are they? Kelbourne Woolens. They are at 231 West Mount Pleasant Avenue. So not far from Wild Hand. Several of these stores were pretty close together, which I really love. That, you know, it's not like, you know, super competitive. There's like room for multiple spaces in the community, and everyone's very supportive of each other. So that was really cool to see. My goal for Kelbourne Woolens was to get yarn to use as the main color for the Pressed Flowers cow, which is what I got this Feeder Brook Farm yarn for. So my friend Susan happened to be there at the same time I was there. Totally unplanned, but very exciting. So she helped me pick out this color of the Andorra base to go with this. Oh, hold on. There we go. So to go together. I'm so excited. So Andorra, this is 60% merino wool, 20% Highland wool, and 20% mohair. 185 yards per 50 grams. I think this is a sport weight yarn. And then this is a DK. I recently saw in another podcast, I think it was Needles at the Ready, I think Ray was talking about, he did a color work yoke sweater. And I think it was a test knit. And the pattern actually called for a much lighter weight yarn for the main color in the body, and then a heavier weight yarn for the color work to help it pop a little more. So that's kind of what I'm going for with this. Hopefully it works. So pressed flowers cow. I also got Kelborn Woolens. Also, they have the big bottles of soak. So I got the wild mint scent because so good. Okay. Seriously running out of room. Where are we? Okay. From there, we went to two places that were just completely new to me. Like, hadn't even heard of them, had not followed them before. But we went to, first one is called Love to Knit and More, and that's in Jenkintown, 610 Old York Road in Jenkintown. And then Stitch Central, which is in Glenside, 128 East Glenside Avenue. Again, very close together. So at Love to Knit and More, there was a trunk show happening. It's called Cozy Color Works. I apologize for not knowing her name, but she had a ton of yarn there. And so I was initially drawn to this, which was her Rhinebeck 2023 colorway. She is a Rhinebeck vendor. So it's Cozy Color Works. This is her superwash merino fingering weight yarn, 550 yards in this. So I got the Rhinebeck colorway, and to go with that, this is called Jersey Peach. And I thought they would be fun together. For what? I don't know. But they were pretty. And I love finding new local indie dyers and supporting them, especially when they have trunk shows going. So we'll see what I do with these. But Cozy Color Works. She does vend at Rhinebeck, so check her out if you're going later this year. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, that was kind of gross. And then where did we go? Stitch Central. Okay. Stitch Central, I got... Oh, also at Love to Knit and More, they had special yarn crawl stitch markers. It says Love to Knit and More on the front, and then Yarn Crawl 2024. So it's a wood stitch marker. Okay. At Stitch Central, I didn't get much, but they had these. Can you tell what this is? It's a cat paw. And if you open it, it's scissors. And they're pretty snappy. Like, they're good. And then they go back in. And it looks like a cat paw. Couldn't resist. So that'll go in one of my Notions pouches. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Okay. So that was it for Saturday. 9 stores in one day. Again, because my husband is effing amazing. So Sunday, I had originally I was going to go to 3 stores. At that point, I was kind of done. So I only made it to 2. I went back to Pearls of Wisdom because Sassafras Knits was there doing a make your own stitch markers. And by make your own, I mean she had all of her stuff laid out, all of her beads and all the different colors and laid out. And you picked like all your favorites, and then she helped you put them together into finished pieces that she made right there on the spot. And I specifically wanted progress keepers because almost all of my stitch markers are closed rings, and I don't have a lot that I can move around my knitting. So I wanted some lobster clasp options. I don't think these are gonna work. I don't think these are gonna show up well at all. No. But if you go on my Instagram, I do have a reel showing all of these and her whole setup and everything. So you should really check it out. I got 3 progress keepers made, very reasonably priced and super gorgeous. This is her Sassafras Knits. She's also in Pennsylvania. And you should check her out because everything she makes is beautiful. And I also got one of her little tins with the sticker with the squirrels, and then inside it has dividers so you can put your markers. All right, last one. The last stop that I made was Yarning Town, which is in Downingtown at 4309 Lincoln Highway. And I had also never been there. It was my first time there. I met up with my friend Allie, and I had no idea what to buy there. At that point I was a little overwhelmed and overstimulated and was realizing how much I had purchased in the last 3 days. But they had Plymouth yarn. I have never seen this base before. Miradores. 36% baby alpaca, 36% fine merino wool, 28% mulberry silk. 50 grams, 131 yards. My friend Allie picked up 2 skeins of this, and then I had to have some. I feel like when we bought these, we had an idea of what we wanted to do with them, or at least I did, but I can't remember what it was. But it is so soft. Oh my gosh, it is so soft. So I don't know what these are going to become, but they were very well priced, and I have no regrets. Okay. I have a lot of cleanup to do, but that's it. So that is everything. That is everything I got from 11 yarn stores in 3 days, all over the Philadelphia area. So again, that was the Greater Philly Yarn Crawl, first ever. I really hope they do it again next year because it was super fun. Next year, I want to plan better and make it to all the stores and get some friends together and hop around. And but it's really cool that we have an event like that now in the Philadelphia area because we didn't have anything like that. So that's it for episode 1. I don't know when I'm going to record the next episode, but today is Tuesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday, April 30th. So in 2 days, my friend Susan is going to come pick me up after work. We're going to drive down to Maryland because we're going to Yarn Centric on Friday and Maryland Sheep and Wool on Saturday. So I need to do some organizing before then because none of this yarn that I bought on the Philly Yarn Crawl has made it into my Ravelry stash yet, and it's not up on the shelves yet. I also have, I'm looking at all the yarn that I've purchased so far this year in 2024, or that has arrived in 2024 from pre-orders at the end of 2023. They also need to be added to my Ravelry stash and put up on the shelves. So that maybe that'll be an episode too. Who knows? Thank you to anyone who watched this. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for 40 minutes. I'm supposed to say, if you like this, to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe. I would love if you enjoyed any part of this. If you left a comment, I would love to know where you are. I would love to know how you found this, what you enjoyed, and I promise I will reply. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.